If you've been trying to manifest money for months or years and nothing's working, it's not because manifestation doesn't work. It's because you've been doing the one thing that guarantees failure, and nobody told you. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why every technique you've tried has failed. What separates successful manifestors from people who try forever and get nothing, and the single shift that turns you from someone who hopes manifestation works into someone who manifests money, consistently and fast. Here's the truth that's going to hit hard. You've been manifesting from lack this entire time, and you didn't even know it. Every vision board you made, every affirmation you repeated, every SAT session you did, you were operating from, I don't have money and I'm trying to get it. And that frequency, that trying, that seeking, that effort, is the exact opposite of the frequency that brings money. Successful manifestors don't try. They don't seek. They don't effort. They assume money is already theirs, and they let reality catch up. And that's why you've been failing. Let me break down what you've been doing wrong. You set a money goal, let's say $10,000. You write it down, you visualize it, you affirm it, you do all the techniques. But every time you do those techniques, you're reinforcing, I don't have $10,000 yet, I need to manifest it. That's lack frequency. You're telling your subconscious, we're broke, we need to fix this. And your subconscious responds by keeping you in situations that match broke energy. The techniques aren't the problem. Your frequency while doing them is the problem. Here's what successful manifestors do differently. They don't manifest from lack, they manifest from having. Before they even start a technique, they've already shifted into the assumption, I have money now. They're not trying to get money, they're not hoping money shows up, they're living like someone who already has money, and they're just waiting for physical reality to reflect what they already know is true. That shift, from trying to get to already having, is the only difference between people who manifest money once and people who manifest money over and over again. And here's why you've been stuck for years. Every time a technique didn't work, you interpreted that as proof that you're bad at manifesting. I tried scripting, didn't work. I tried 369 method, didn't work. I tried SATs, didn't work. Maybe I'm just not good at this? Wrong. The techniques work fine. You're just operating from the wrong frequency. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while you're on the wrong channel. The music is playing, you're just not hearing it because you're tuned to static. Let me give you an example. Two people both try to manifest $5,000. Person A does SATs every night visualizing $5,000 in their bank account, but every morning they wake up anxious, check their account hoping to see it, feel disappointed it's not there yet, and spend the day worried about bills. Person A is doing the technique correctly, but living in lack frequency 23 hours a day. Person B does SATs once, assumes the $5,000 is handled, and spends the rest of their time making decisions like someone who already has the money. Calm, relaxed, not monitoring. Person B manifests it in 8 days. Person A is still trying 6 months later. That's the difference. Successful manifestors do the technique once or twice to plant the seed, then they live in the assumption it's done. Unsuccessful manifestors do the technique obsessively, then spend the rest of their time in doubt, fear, and lack. The technique isn't the manifestation. The assumption you hold between techniques is the manifestation. Now here's the specific mistake you've probably been making that's kept you stuck for years. You've been measuring success by physical results instead of by your state. Every time you check your bank account and the money isn't there yet, you think it's not working. But that's backwards. Manifestation works in reverse. You become successful at it the moment you stop needing to see physical proof to believe it's working. The physical proof shows up after you're already certain, not before. And here's what nobody tells you. Becoming successful at manifesting money isn't about learning more techniques. You've probably already tried 20 different methods. The problem isn't that you need a new method. The problem is you need to stop doing methods from lack and start living in assumption 24/7. That's the shift. Not a new technique, not a better visualization. A complete frequency shift from "I'm trying to manifest" to "I already have money." Reality just hasn't updated yet. In the next section, I'm going to tell you exactly how to make that shift in the next 48 hours. I'm going to give you the one practice that successful manifestors do that unsuccessful manifestors skip. And I'm going to show you how to tell if you're in the right frequency or still stuck in lack. But first, if you've been trying to manifest money for years, and this is the first time someone's explained why it hasn't worked, hit subscribe right now, because in my next video, I'm breaking down the 7 signs you're about to become a successful manifestor, and you don't want to miss that confirmation. Alright, here's how. You know if you're in success, frequency, or failure frequency right now. Close your eyes and think about the amount of money you're trying to manifest. Now pay attention to what happens in your body. If you feel tension, urgency, anxiety, or excitement, you're in failure frequency. If you feel calm, neutral, or slightly bored, you're in success frequency. Successful manifestors are bored by their manifestations before they arrive because they've already accepted them as done. Unsuccessful manifestors are emotionally charged because they're still hoping and waiting. That might sound backwards. You'd think excitement means you're aligned, right? Wrong. Excitement is future-based emotion. I can't wait for this to happen. But if you're waiting for it to happen, you're admitting it hasn't happened yet. That's lack. Boredom, on the other hand, is present-based. This is already handled, nothing to get excited about. When you're bored by your manifestation, your subconscious knows it's real. When you're excited, your subconscious knows you're fantasizing. So here's the first thing successful manifestors do that you haven't been doing. They neutralize the goal. Instead of pumping themselves up with affirmations trying to feel rich, they just decide, "I have money," and then they stop thinking about it. They don't check their bank account every day. They don't journal about it obsessively. They don't talk about manifestation 24/7. They just live like someone who has money, calm, secure, making decisions from abundance. And the money shows up because their state is consistent. Here's a test you can do right now to see how far you are from success frequency. Imagine the money you're trying to manifest showed up tomorrow. How would you react if your answer is, "I'd scream, cry, celebrate, tell everyone"? You're in failure frequency because that reaction means you don't actually expect it. Successful manifestors react with, "Yeah, of course," because they already knew it was coming. They're not surprised by their manifestations. They're not shocked. They're just confirmed. Now, here's how to shift into success frequency in the next 48 hours. Tonight, before bed, you're going to do something completely different from what you've been doing. Instead of visualizing money or repeating affirmations, you're going to lie down and think about one purchase you'll make when the money arrives. Not 10 purchases. 1. Something small and specific. Maybe it's a $60 dinner. Maybe it's a $150 pair of shoes. Pick one thing. Now feel what it's like to already own that thing, not what it will feel like. What it feels like right now, today, to already have it. Now here's the command that seals this entire shift, and this is critical. Every night before bed, during this 48-hour period, you're going to say 3 words out loud or in your mind. I am successful. Not, I am successful at manifesting. Not, I am trying to be successful. Just, I am successful. 3 words. Present tense. Total certainty. But here's what you need to understand before you say it, because if you just repeat those words without understanding what they're doing, they won't work. When you say, I am successful, you're not talking about your bank account. You're not talking about your job. You're not talking about your manifestation results. You're declaring your identity. You're telling your subconscious, success is who I am, not what I'm chasing. And that shift from success being a goal to success being your identity is what changes everything. Most people say affirmations hoping they'll feel different. That's backwards. You don't say, I am successful to convince yourself you're successful. You say it to remind yourself that success isn't something you achieve. It's something you already are. Successful people aren't successful because they manifested money. They manifested money because they decided they were already successful before the evidence showed up. The identity came first, the results came second. And here's why this specific command matters for manifestation. When you say, "I am successful," your subconscious stops trying. Right now, you're trying to manifest money, trying to be good at manifestation, trying to finally get it right. That trying is resistance. Successful people don't try. They just are. When you declare, "I am successful," you're not hoping to become successful at manifesting someday. You're claiming it right now, tonight, before you've manifested a single dollar. And that claim, that certainty, is what makes the money show up. But listen carefully. If you just say, "I am successful" 3 times before bed, and then wake up tomorrow stressed about money, checking your account, worried about bills, the command did nothing. The words don't work by themselves. They work when you pair them with the state. Say the command at night, then spend the next day acting like someone who is successful. Make decisions from success. Think from success. Move from success. The command plants the seed. Your actions water it. So tonight, before you go to sleep, say it once with absolute certainty. "I am successful." Feel the truth of it, not the hope, not the wish. The truth. You're not becoming successful. You already are. Reality just hasn't caught up yet. And then tomorrow, when you wake up, you're going to prove it to yourself by acting from that identity all day long. You're not imagining the future. You're remembering today. That's the difference. Successful manifestors don't visualize the future. They remember the present. They're not trying to create a new reality. They're acknowledging the reality that already exists on a different frequency. When you remember today as the day you already had the thing, your subconscious stops resisting and starts aligning. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, don't check your bank account. Don't look for signs. Don't monitor for progress. Instead, make one decision from the assumption you already have money. Maybe you order the coffee you actually want instead of the cheap one. Maybe you say yes to an invitation you'd normally skip because of money. Maybe you browse something online you'd normally avoid because "I can't afford it." You're not spending recklessly. You're acting like someone whose money is handled, even in small ways. Tomorrow night, repeat the same process. Remember one thing you already have because the money already came. And the next morning, make another decision from abundance. After 48 hours of this, remembering instead of hoping, deciding instead of waiting, you'll feel the shift. The anxiety drops. The obsession stops. You start feeling neutral about the money, and that neutrality is the success frequency. Here's what happens after that. Within 3 to 7 days of being in success frequency, opportunities start appearing. Not because you're doing a technique correctly, but because your state changed. You're no longer vibrating, "I need money." You're vibrating, "I have money." And reality responds by delivering money through unexpected channels. A text, an email, a random idea, someone reaching out. The money finds you because you stopped chasing it. And here's the key difference between what you've been doing and what successful manifestors do. You've been trying to manifest from your current broke state into a wealthy state. That's effort. That's resistance. Successful manifestors start from the wealthy state and let the physical reality catch up. They're not becoming wealthy. They already are wealthy in assumption. They're just waiting for the bank account to reflect it. That's why it's effortless for them. They're not climbing uphill, trying to get somewhere. They're already at the top, just waiting for the view to clear. One more thing, after you make the shift into success frequency, don't go back to old habits. Don't start checking your account obsessively again. Don't start doing 10 different techniques because you're worried it's not working. The shift into success frequency is fragile at first. You have to protect it by refusing to slip back into monitoring, seeking, or efforting. Just stay neutral, stay calm, and let reality do its job. In the final section, I'm going to tell you what happens when the money shows up, the one mistake that will kill your success even after you finally manifest, and how to make this your permanent frequency, instead of a temporary state. But first, go do the 48-hour test starting tonight. Remember today, decide tomorrow. Let me know in the comments when you feel the shift happen. All right. Let's talk about what happens when the money finally shows up after years of trying. This is where most people sabotage everything. They manifest money once, they freak out, and then they never manifest again because they kill the frequency with their reaction. Here's what you're going to do instead. When the money shows up, and it will, probably within 7 to 14 days after you shift into success frequency, you're going to treat it like you ordered it and it got delivered. Not like you won the lottery. Not like a miracle happened. Like you placed an order 2 weeks ago and it finally arrived. Oh good, it's here. That's the energy calm receipt. No shock, no crying, no, I can't believe it worked. Just acknowledgement. Yeah, this is what I expected. Why does this matter? Because the way you react to your first success determines whether you become a one-time manifester or a consistent one. If you react with disbelief, you're telling your subconscious, wow, that was rare and surprising, and rare things don't repeat. But if you react with calm certainty, you're telling your subconscious, this is normal for me. This is how I operate. So, here's what you do starting today. First, run the success frequency test from earlier. Think about your money goal and check if you feel excited or neutral. If you feel excited, you're still in trying mode. If you feel neutral, you're in success mode. Second, start the 48-hour shift tonight. Remember today is the day you already have what you want, then make decisions from that assumption tomorrow. Third, when money shows up, react with, of course, instead of, oh my God. After years of trying, you're about to become successful at this. Not because you learned a new technique, not because you're doing something different, because you finally understand that success at manifestation isn't about effort, it's about assumption. You stop trying to get money and you start being someone who has money. That's the only shift. And once you make it, everything changes. One last thing. 3 weeks from now, when money has shown up multiple times and you realize you're finally successful at this, come back to this video and leave a comment with what changed. Not to brag, but to document the shift for yourself. Write, I stopped trying and started assuming. It worked. That comment is proof for your future self that you finally figured it out. You've been trying for years. You're about to become successful in the next 2 weeks. Start tonight. And normal things repeat automatically. Here's the mistake that kills most people after their first success. They immediately try to manifest again. The money shows up, they get excited, and the next day they're trying to manifest $20,000 because if $5,000 worked, let me go bigger. Wrong. That's greed energy, not success energy. After your first manifestation, you don't do anything for 7 days. You just live. You let the wind integrate. You let your subconscious update its programming to, I'm someone who manifests money, before you ask for more. Patience after success is what separates people who manifest once from people who manifest forever. Now let's talk about how to make success frequency your permanent state instead of something you have to try to get into. Right now, success frequency feels like work. You have to remember to stay neutral. You have to stop yourself from checking your account. You have to consciously make decisions from abundance. But successful manifestors don't think about it anymore. It's automatic. They just are in success frequency 24/7 without effort. Here's how you get there. Every time you catch yourself slipping back into old patterns, checking your account with hope, worrying about money, trying to manifest, you pause and ask yourself one question. Am I acting like someone who has money or someone who needs money? That question snaps you back. If you're acting like you need money, you course correct immediately. Make one decision, say one thing, or think one thought from the I have money state. Over time, those course corrections become automatic. You stop slipping. The new state becomes your default. Here's what permanent success frequency looks like in real life. You think about money when it's relevant. Paying a bill, making a purchase, checking your balance for practical reasons. But you don't obsess. You don't monitor. You don't stress. Money becomes boring. Opportunities show up regularly. Unexpected income becomes expected. You stop being surprised when checks arrive or deals close. That's when you know you've made the shift permanent. When manifestation stops feeling magical and starts feeling normal. And here's the final piece nobody tells you. Once you become successful at manifesting money, you realize the technique never mattered. You spent years trying every method thinking, if I just find the right one, it'll work. But the method was never the issue. Your state was the issue. Successful manifestors can manifest with any technique. SATs, scripting, affirmations, even no technique at all. Because they're operating from the right frequency. The technique is just a tool to help you access the state. The state is the manifest.